From spins on the deck to checking out what's trending on celebrity gossip and news. Tonight on My Date With You, we find out why Calligraph Jones is making news, and most of all, why social media trolling has become a common phenomenon. And with my amazing guest tonight, we will also try to understand how you can overcome trolling. But first, we've got a lot in store for you today, especially in the world today. And let's have a look at what's making headlines. Welcome to the Bulletin tonight. My name is Lucy Riley and I'll be your host for the night. For the second day in a row, Kenya has recorded a double-digit increase in the number of COVID-19 cases. 16 more people have tested positive for the dreaded virus in the last 24 hours. And as Joash Onsare reports, the Ministry of Health says it is not aware of a COVID-19 vaccine trial in Kenya by British scientists. Take a look.
The new 16 cases bring the total confirmed COVID-19 cases in the country to 336, with Kenya's numbers increasing with double digits for the last 2 days. 11 of the cases recorded in the last 24 hours are from Nairobi, while 5 are from the port city of Mombasa.
We have tested 946 samples across 12 counties. This brings to 16,738 the total number of tests conducted so far. From these latest tests, 16 persons have tested positive for COVID-19 disease. We therefore now have a total of 336 confirmed cases in the country.
That all the 16 positive cases were picked by surveillance teams is a worry of the spread, the dreaded virus at a community level, with Mombasa now being a hotspot.
These 16 positive were picked out from among communities by our surveillance teams. Of these, 11 were in Nairobi and 5 in Mombasa.
While responding to claims that the British scientists could start their COVID-19 vaccine trials in Kenya if tests in the United Kingdom don't get the expected results, the Ministry of Health says that it is not aware of a vaccine trail.
As a government, we are not aware at all about the interest of this team to come and work with the government of Kenya in testing this vaccine. We are not aware. There are proper laid down procedures for engagement of this nature. Equally, there are proper laid down procedures, rigorous procedures of review, ethical review, and approvals of any clinical trials whatsoever. And we have a very robust structure here under the Pharmacy and Poisons Board that is responsible for regulating and reviewing clinical trials.
This is not the first time European scientists have hinted on a possible vaccine trial in Africa. 2 French doctors were put on the spot for suggesting Africa could be ideal for vaccine tests. People with non-communicable diseases like respiratory disorders, diabetes, cancer, hypertension have been urged to observe COVID-19 precaution measures and a healthy lifestyle since they are susceptible to the virus. To date, Kenya has done over 16,000 COVID-19 tests, where 887 contacts are closely monitored in various isolation centers. So far, 95 people have recovered from COVID-19, while 14 people have succumbed to the virus. Joash Onsare, TV47 Nairobi.
Thank you very much for that story, Joash Onsare. Now moving on, as the holy month of Ramadan begins across the globe, Deputy President William Ruto has urged all the Muslims to stay vigilant as they dedicate themselves in prayers while the world is fighting the spread of coronavirus. And as Aaron Kipkoech reports, it shall be a different Ramadan as Muslim faithfuls keep away from mosques.
الحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا
The holy month of Ramadan, Muslims normally converge in various mosques for prayers, but things are different this year. Muslims faithful will have to say their prayers at home in keeping with COVID-19 containment measures.
Mtumie mwenzako bishara na kubashiria mwezi Ramadhani umeingia, ni mwezi ambao hakuna yoyote ambaye atakoseshwa msamaha wa Mola katika mwezi kama huu.
Mohammed Isaac, who is one of Jamia Mosque Nairobi leaders, is urging Muslims to follow Islamic teachings that will be broadcasted on various television platforms and also streamed live online.
Hawaruhusiwi kufanya ibada moja kwa moja katika msikiti, watu waweze kufuatilia nyumbani, hasa ibada ya swala. Ama ibada zingine kama vile khutba na mazungumzo mbalimbali na saha zinaweza tolewa msikitini au kupitia televisheni au redio mbalimbali na watu wakafuatilia nyumbani.
Mohammed also urged those who have been asked to stay in quarantine centers to continue praying and be patient until they complete their stay.
Hiyo muda ambao utapelekwa quarantine ni an opportunity for you. Ni wakati ambapo unaweza ukajikaribisha kwa Allah kupitia dhikri mbalimbali, usomaji wa Qur'an, swala, dua na mengine mengi. Kwa hivyo ni fursa mtu anapewa, pamoja na kuwa labda kuna mengi atakupita ungeweza kufanya katika hizo wiki mbili, lakini ni bora wewe kuweza kusikiza maagizo hayo, ukavumilia, na mvumilivu hula mbivu, na baada ya wiki mbili utatoka ukiwa mzima na utajiunga na jamii yako ukiwa na uhakika ya kuwa hauna la kuambukiza jamii yako na watoto wako.
Deputy President William Ruto, while quoting the Quran, urged Muslim faithful to continue praying even though public places have been restricted as one way of reducing the spread of coronavirus.
In the holy month of Ramadan, at this time of profound anxiety and uncertainty, fortunately for the Ummah, the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him, in the 14th century, taught faithful not only the practice of rigorous hygiene, but also specific measures to be taken in pestilence. My family and I, Ramadan Kareem, wa Saum Makbul.
The holy month of Ramadan started Friday, although only a section of Muslims began the fast. Muslims fast for 30 days during Ramadan to mark one of the pillars of Islam. Aaron Kipkoech, TV47, Nairobi.
Right, we'd like to wish all the Muslims a happy month of Ramadan, and as they say, Ramadan Kareem, Saum Makbul. Now, following the indefinite closure of schools to curb the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic, students and pupils are now forced to learn from home using online learning platforms. However, many students, especially those from poor family areas, are disadvantaged since they do not have access to electricity and internet. And as Ndrin Kilemi reports, the government has an uphill task of making the field level for KCP and KCSC candidates by bridging the gap between haves and have-nots.
Online learning has become the new normal in the country. This since the outbreak of the deadly and highly contagious coronavirus, which led to the indefinite closure of schools. But are all students and pupils in a position to access online learning tools? This is Bishop Yundu's home in Kitale, Trans Nzoia County. Learning for Bishop Yundu's children has not stopped. They continue with their studies using the online learning platforms, including and not limited to TV, mobile phones, and computers.
I really appreciate the e-learning system, the online study. It's really beneficial to us because it helps us to catch up with the learning.
When you're using this e-learning platform, they use just one language, for example, English. They'll just teach you English all through. But when you're with your teacher, it's easy to ask the teacher to explain, and the teacher can even explain it in a language that you understand better.
To other children, like they don't have the laptops, the phones, so I find it difficult for them.
At Mwegenye Saika area in Nairobi County, we meet Rebecca's family. Here, they can only revise their old notes in the hope that schools will reopen soon.
Alikuwa amesema ndio atatuma hizo kazi kwenye rununu ili tuweze kufanya, tunawatumia, wakisahihisha tena wanatutumia majibu. Lakini sasa juu hatuna hiyo, inakuwa ngumu, so inabidi tujitegemee mwenyewe.
Online learning for them is impossible. The family has no access to electricity, internet, as well as the required electronic gadgets.
Huwa naona tu kwa mtandao watoto wengine wakisoma, lakini sasa inasinda kutufikia kwa sababu hao watu wa chini. Ndiposa nilikuwa naomba serikali ingekumbuka watu wa chini kama sisi pia kama mimi mmoja wao, watoto wetu wapata kupata nao hiyo njia wengine wanapata kusudi pata kutusaidia.
Earlier this week, the Cabinet Secretary for Education, Professor George Magoha, said that national examinations will not be postponed because of the pandemic. And in a radio interview days later, President Uhuru Kenyatta also affirmed that KCPE and KCSE will go on as planned.
Na nafikiri hivi karibuni tutakuwa tunatoa taratibu ya vile watoto wetu wataweza polepole kuanza kurudi kwa mashule, na ile taratibu ambazo tutaweka ndio wale ambao haswa, kwa sababu hawa ndio we are most concerned about, yeah? Wale ambao wanafanya mitihani watafanya hiyo mitihani kwa njia gani, na huo muda ambao wamepoteza wakiwa manyumbani wataweza kukatch up kwa njia gani.
Education experts have, however, poked holes on the handling of the education crisis occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic.
There are challenges that we need to talk about before we say that everybody is learning, and I think that is part of the problem we have with the CS, that imagining that because people may be having radios, people may be having phones, people may be having TVs, that can be able to have, I think I heard him talk about over 90%. I disagree with that. We can't even exceed 20% of the coverage. Okay. TV and even internet put together. If we are going to go ahead with KCSE and KCP, which we should, I think the focus should be what is it that we have been able to cover in the syllabus of each of those programs. In the event that we are unable to conduct the exams, in case the situation worsens and we can't, is it possible that we can be able to look at what they've been doing with their teachers all along, like the continuous assessment test and also the annual reports, so that we can be able to use, because the purpose of these two exams is to place learners in the next level.
And even as various sectors continue to feel the COVID-19 pandemic hit, the education sector remains the most affected. The biggest headache for the Ministry of Education and other stakeholders now is how to level the field for KCPE and KCSE candidates who are accessing online learning studies and those who cannot. Andreen Kilemi, TV47, Nairobi.
That's very sad indeed with the rising digital gap there. But moving on to another county, as the national government strengthens the fight against COVID-19 in the country, Mandera County has been put in a temporary lockdown for 21 days in a bid to fight the disease. Now, the lockdown began on Wednesday this week, and the process is expected to prevent the spread of the virus to the neighboring counties, I beg your pardon. Now, the county also shares borders with Ethiopia and Somalia, further endangering residents of the county.
At the heart of northeastern's corona-hit county of Mandera, efforts to curb the spread of the virus takes center stage. Mandera is the 5th county to be placed under partial lockdown after Nairobi, Mombasa, Kilifi, and Kwale. The county has 8 positive cases, and its proximity to Ethiopia and Somalia, it is said to be at more risk. Simultaneous security meetings were held in a bid to deliberate on how the county will fight the virus and uphold the directive from the national government to close its borders.
Now that Mandera has been officially restricted entry and exit, there's a temporary lockdown for the next 21 days.
At the helm lies this man, Mandera Governor Ali Ibrahim Roba, who received accolades from locals as a result of precaution measures he took to combat the deadly virus. But as has been the case in other counties, he still has much more to do. Like other governors, he is dependent on the national government's boost, while his people look up to him with the hope of flattening the curve.
There are people on the road right now who this order is likely to catch them unaware, and as such we want to urge humane processing of the same as we firm up the lockdown process.
Since the commencement of the 21 days long lockdown on Wednesday, government officers are fully in charge of the borders with tough measures placed to deal with the defiant heads. The county shares major routes with Wajir and Marsabit County, and only vehicles that transport essential goods will be allowed in.
We'll quarantine you for 14 days. You will be checked and you'll only be allowed to leave the quarantine centers if it's confirmed by medical doctors that you don't have the virus.
Sensitization activities by the government at the grassroots are also challenged by the usual heightened insecurity cases. The latest being a rocket-propelled grenade fired from the Somali side hitting a government office and Al-Shabaab threats. Even as the county government of Mandera struggle to fight the tough battle of coronavirus, underlying threats from terror could also further hinder their course. Isadin Haji, TV47, Mandera County.
Right, thank you very much for that report, Isadin Haji. And now, before we take a short break, I'd like to introduce you to DJ Q, who will be joining me throughout the show this evening, and of course, gracing this particular show tonight, and we'll be having a lot of fun. Listen up, you don't want to miss this. Take a look.
Mount Kenya University takes pride in being an academic giant with some of the best infrastructure, imparting knowledge to the best brains in the country and the region. Our members of faculty are keen to deliver market-driven programs in science and humanities with a keen focus on linkages with relevant organizations. We admit both self-sponsored and government-sponsored students under the Kenya Universities and Colleges Central Placement Service. Join us today and train with the best to become the best. Mount Kenya University, unlocking infinite possibilities.
Hey, Sospitason, tumefutwa wote.
Yawa, pia wewe?
Tumeachiliwa.
Si pia wewe unaweza anzisha biashara yako.
Na hii economy venye iko tough sana.
But not too tough for Mwananchi Credit.
Tutafanya aje?
Si niko na 5 good cars. We can get a quick logbook loan approved within 6 hours.
Nataka kuanzisha salon na spa. Hii haitatosa.
Si tuko na title deed spare. We can still get more money using them. Get a quick approval within 6 hours using your logbook or title deed. Do not get stuck. Call Mwananchi Credit today. Si nilikuambia.
You are a big smart joke.
Mwananchi Credit. Investor in people.
The coronavirus pandemic has not just infected thousands of people around the world. Sadly, thousands of people have also lost their lives.
The virus is here in Kenya, and unless we do something about it, thousands may die.
Our healthcare system cannot bear the burden of this virus.
If too many people become infected, we all know that our healthcare system will not be able to handle the pressure.
We stand to lose many, many lives.
You, me, or our loved ones could lose our lives.
To avoid this from happening,
you and I have a part to play.
Sanitize your hands.
Wash and disinfect your hands regularly.
Wash your hands frequently with soap and water.
Don't touch your face.
Please observe social distancing.
Avoid going out of town or being in groups with so many people.
And most importantly, you must stay at home.
Please stay at home.
Stay home.
Don't go out to meet with your friends.
Stop your children from going out to play in groups. In fact, limit anything that takes you out of the house and follow government directives.
Please let us follow government directives. Stay at home.
You must stay at home.
Dear Kenyans, stay at home and save lives.
Stay at home
and save lives.
Stay at home and save lives. I beg.
Stay at home. Let's stop the spread of coronavirus.
Care for me as I care for you, and together we will beat this thing.
Stay at home and save lives.
With every new week comes new adventures, fresh expectations, and new stories to tell. Where others tell you stories as a youth, we will invite you to the table to critically debate.
We will continuously recycle the same kind of leaders and the same kind of bad leaders that we end up complaining about later if we do not adopt a value and issue-based political system in this country.
Well, of course, here on New Week, we're all about matters youth has...
Analyze developing stories and how they are likely to shape up in the new week.
I think youths in Kenya need to find themselves what they're good at.
Where are we in that trajectory as the youth right now? Are we starting where we are?
It's more than just a current affairs program. Platforms, that's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Let me know where you're watching us from tonight, what you're doing and what's your plan. Now we're getting into another exciting and interesting segment for the night where we talk to a celebrity or an artist and get to kind of hear from them. And this week, tonight, we have Masauti, and Masauti is joining us all the way from his home. Masauti, how are you doing tonight?
Mimi niko poa, na nyinyi mkoaje huko?
Twaendelea salama, twashukuru sisi.
Vizuri.
Well, first of all, congratulations. Your song How, all right? It's #1. Ina trend katika YouTube na watu wengi wanaitazama, wanaipenda, ngoma A-job kabisa. Hebu tueleze kidogo
kuhusu
huo wimbo. Tueleze kidogo kuhusu huo wimbo wenyewe sasa, in terms of creating it.
Huo wimbo mwanzo ni wimbo wa Calligraph, alinishirikisha hapo. Na nadhani ni wimbo ambao unaongelea vitu ambavyo watu wengi wanapitia, sio wasanii peke yake, na ni watu kila mtu. Yani wajua kuna wale haters wanakuwa wanakufanya unajifeel uko kama mbecho kitu unachokifanya ama kitu yani kitu chochote unachokifanya yani sio sawa ama kiwezi. So hiyo inaongelea wale watu wanaobuli wenzao kwa kuwafanya wafeel wako chini kwa kitu wanachokifanya. Na ni ngoma ambayo tayari Calligraph alikuwa tayari ameianza. So akafikiria hapa nani ataweza hapa, akaona Masauti ataweza, so akanipigia simu, nikafika nikasikia hivi yenyewe pia ilini touch kwa sababu ni kitu ambacho mimi mwenyewe pia nishapitia na huwa napitia sometimes, so ikanijia haraka hivyo chorus nikaweka one time, kesho kutwa tukashoot video.
Kwa hivyo kumaanisha kuna wasanii wengi wanapata hiyo backlash from online bullies, na ningependa labda utaje tu what are the effects, ni effects gani ambazo hiyo bullying ama online trolling iko nayo katika maisha ya msanii?
Kwa sababu kama tuseme mimi hivi msanii, leo hii mimi nafanya kitu na wajua kabisa hicho kitu nafanya kinilete mapato ama nini, alafu leo hiyo wewe najituma mimi alafu wewe wanikashifu. Unajua mimi nitajisikiaje? Yani obvious nitajisikia vibaya na itanifanya hata kwa namna moja ama nyingine nishindwe, hata labda nivunjike morali na kitu ambacho labda kingenisaidia, lakini ukanifanya nikavunjika morali. So vitu kama hivyo vina affect sana.
Hebu pale katika chorus unaimba unasemaje? Wanaona mwangaza ila hawajui nyuma yetu kiza kinene. Hebu relate na connect na maisha yako sasa, venye wewe mwenyewe unaweza sema katika maisha yako una relate vipi?
Sasa unaona hivyo ninavyosema hivyo, na maanisha ni kwamba kuna watu wao wakituona sisi kama wasanii wanaona tu yani msanii huyu ako sawa, huyu msanii yani hana shida na nini, yani pale amfikia yani mbona tujuzi tayari ashakuwa hajui mpaka mimi kufikia hapa, hajui kuna vitu vingapi ambavyo mimi navumilia ambavyo napitia. Kwa jua pia kuna watu humu kwenye industry yetu wanakufanya uone bila wao hautakuwa msanii mkubwa, ni sio, inabidi tu unanyenyekea, unakuwa mjinga labda hivyo. Yani kwenye hata hiyo ngoma inaeleza vitu tu direct kabisa. Yani utapata uko mahali wajiona ni kama mbea kwa yani hasi mpaka mtu kuna watu wanataka wanyenyekewe ili mradi ndo wakusaidie. Usijui kama na usipowafanyia hivyo wanakuwekea ile design ya kwamba wewe kama utunyenyekei sisi tutakupoteza, vitu kama hivyo, ama yani kwenye industry yani hawatakuwa wakusupport nini. So inabidi tu wavumilia tu vitu zingine. Kuna vitu vingi sana yani tuwavumilia sana yani. Ile tu uwezi kuanza kuzunguka ukasema sijui mimi nimefanywa hivi, sijui nafanywa hivi nini. Yani kuna watu wanasaidia msanii ili mradi kumnyanyasa, sio wamsaidii kumfanya kuwe mtu mwingine tofauti ambapo hawezi kusaidia watu wengine. Yani wewe wasaidiwa ili mtu akunyanyase. Mtu yani nia yake ni kwamba ameona tu vile atakukula yani. Sasa na wewe una budi, inabidi unatulia, unakubali sema hata kama mimi naumia, lakini wacha tu niende nayo, itafika time pia mimi nitatokana na hiyo kitu yani. Sijui kama
nikuulizaje Masauti, unaona kama ngoma kama hii itaweza kusolve kama hizo problems zenye zimekuwa hapo tangu kitambo, ama ni nini ambacho ungependa kuachieve? What would you want to achieve from a song like this one in terms of the message behind it?
Ati vipi?
Unaona kama wimbo kama huu, unaona kama utaweza kupata solution ama kusolve hiyo shida ya wasanii kuwa wananyanyaswa samahani kila wakati, dhulma? Unaona kama itapata solution, ama what do you hope to achieve from creating a song like this? What's the end goal?
Yani mimi nadhani kitu ambacho kimemkera, nadhani swali kama hilo itakuwa vizuri sana, kwa sababu Kali pia ni kitu ambacho maybe pia ilikuwa cha msumbo sana. Ndio maana paka kaandikia ngoma kama hiyo. Ni kitu ambacho pia labda amekiona ama anaona watu wanafanyiwa, so mpaka kikamkera kufanya hiyo, kwa sababu idea yote ilikuwa yeye tayari asha create. Mimi nilikuja nikaisikia hivi ikaniingia, kwa sababu mimi pia nilirelate nayo haraka niliposikia hivi. So mimi nadhani itakuwa lengo la hii ngoma. Mimi nataka kama sikuwa haiko kwa akili yangu, lakini niliposikia hivi nilijua itabadilisha vitu vile ama vitatu, kwa sababu pia ukiona watu kama wapio wakiona kitu kama hiyo itawashtua kidogo, itawarudisha nyuma na kufanyia watu vitu kwa uzuri, ama itapunguza hiyo kutukana wasanii bila sababu. Chaona? Ndio. Na mimi naamini kwamba itafanya kazi hiyo, kwa sababu watu wengi wamereact nao vizuri sana, kwa sababu ni kama mbeni kitu watu walikuwa wako nacho, lakini mtu anaogopa kukisema ama yani Kali na mimi tumefungwa ile kwamba tumeongea ni ile vitu ambavyo watu wengi ambao wanavihold wanaogopa kusema. Ndio. Na tujaisema kwa ubaya, yani tuwaisema kwa uzuri, yani kwamba kwa nini unitusi mimi? Na sija kufanya kitu, hunijui, sikujui, hujanipa, waamka tu waingia wanitukana ama waandika kitu. Hujui mimi pia niko na feelings, mimi kama msanii, na mimi pia niko na moyo kama vile mtu mwingine. So ni sawa kukubali kutukanwa haters wako hivyo, lakini yani pia kuna vile namna moja au nyingine inasaidia kupunguza watu kama hao pia, ama kutia pia moyo wale watu wanahisi kama kutukanwa yanifanya mimi nasikia vibaya, nataka kuacha kitu changu, inawatia moyo hata zaidi ya kusema haters hata si wajali nini, vitu kama hivyo. Alafu Masauti, labda swali lingine la mwisho kabla haujatupatia line kidogo, manake pia sauti yako lazima tuisikie ukiimba kidogo. Wakati huu wa COVID-19 unajikeep busy mwenyewe, una release songs, lakini kuna wale wasanii bado sahihi wanajiuliza hiyo income ama pesa zingine zitatoka wapi, labda hawajui watafanya nini na maisha yao. Unaweza kufanya nini kama msanii kujiweka consistent na relevant katika industry wakati kama huu? Mimi kusema kweli si ati kwamba pia mimi pia ni mtu ambaye najua kujipanga mimi mwenyewe. So mwenyewe nimejipanga, la pia kuna pia hizi sehemu tofauti ambazo zatuingizia pesa, at least kama Skiza Tune zinatusaidia kuingiza pesa. Ndio. Kwa sababu kwa mwezi wanatuma pesa, au pesa zao zinaingia kwa mwezi, so at least kuna vile pia mapato utapata kwa njia hiyo. Na pia njia zingine za YouTube wapi huku, hizi platforms zingine pia zinatupatia chambi kidogo za kukaa. Na pia zile vitu tulisave zile za mashow zingine, basi tuendelea nazo kuishi nazo polepole. Haya basi, mwelekezi wangu ananiambia kwamba wakati wetu umetupa kisogo, lakini hebu tu drop ile lyrics kidogo, hiyo chorus yako tukusikie. Okay. Wanaona mwangaza ila wajui nyuma yetu kiza kinene, lakini tunapambana ila mziki majanga, lazima tu wanene. Wanajifanya wanapenda hao ila wanadidimiza hao, wanajifanya wanapenda hao ila wanadidimiza hao. Safi. Mashallah. Nakwambia mimi mwenyewe nimesikiza hiyo ngoma mara nyingi sana. Lakini nimeona kuna collab na Calligraph. Labda uko na mipango mingine hapo ya wimbo mwingine ambao uta drop very soon, ama uko na mipango ipi ya collab next yako? Kuna song yangu mwenyewe nitakuwa na drop very soon, na pia kuna collab tofauti ambazo nimefanya pia na wasanii wengine wa nje na pia hapa nyumbani, ambazo bado pia plan zake zikifikia tutakuwa tuwaziongelea sasa. Lakini kwa saizi kuna tungo ambayo nitaenda kutoa yangu peke yangu. Ndio.
Hi, shukran sana Masauti. It was a pleasure having you on the show tonight, and of course we look forward to having you again very, very soon. We're in usiku mwema. And now it's time to listen to our DJ on the decks tonight. Of course, he'll be entertaining us throughout the show. Don't touch that dial, because when we come back, we've got a lot in store for you in terms of the celebrity world and much more.
Since late last year, the coronavirus COVID-19 has emerged as a serious healthcare threat. This is an infection that has gone global and no one has been spared. The government, through the Ministry of Health, has put in measures to keep Kenyans safe against COVID-19, which is currently rampant around the world, with new confirmed infections and death cases daily. Such sanitization and screening of visitors at this border post and across every entry point in the country is very vital in preventing the spread of the disease in the country.
I'm very happy about the screenings that are going on in Tanzania and Kenya. I think it's very proactive that you're thinking about stopping it at the border so that it does not spread.
It is scary that a single cough here can lead to an outbreak of epic proportions. In order to prevent that, the government has instituted measures to keep Kenyans safe.
The facility has all the equipments you need, from handling a basic patient up to ICU setting.
However, you also have a role to play in preventing spread of infections.
Citizen responsibility is the key to the success of this initiative and these measures. Let's all do what we have to do individually. And this is how we are going to defeat this disease.
It's just our general hygiene, okay? And that now means at workplaces, we should ensure that our work surfaces are clean.
Let's ensure that nimefanya proper sanitation ya mikono. Every time na board matatu, lazima ni sanitize mikono.
We have faced many severe challenges as a nation, and we have always found a way to rise above them. COVID-19 is no different, and we will overcome the pandemic. Stop coronavirus. Follow all directives from the Ministry of Health. Wash your hands properly.
Bomba la Sanaa, kipindi chenye burudani ya aina yake kila siku ya Jumamosi. mahali utapata nafasi ya kuwajua na kuwafahamu wasanii wapendao. Na bila kusahau kitengo ambacho sisi wakanga wasanii kwa maswali, yani kikangoni.
Kama unaona hizo nyimbo na Harmonize zinatokea mnakuwa studio, vitu vina vibe. So sijawahi kuwa na tatizo la kusema sitaki kuimba na Diamond, wala sina tatizo la kusema sitaki kukaa kwenye bench moja na Diamond. I don't have a problem with that. Yeah.
Na pia tunatembea katika vyuo vikuu kujumuika na kuburudika na wanafunzi.
Susanna Vanesenge, hello, hello, hello. If you get to hear this song, somebody loves you. Wasapo natazama Bomba la Sanaa
kila Jumamosi saa 4 mpaka saa 6.
Naye Tony Muriki.
That's what's up. Keep it locked, don't move, usibanduke, usibandue.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us right here on Friday. Remember, it's a date tonight with me on TV47. And I just want to read some of your comments on Facebook. I can see Sami Mwangi from Narok watching live. Chris from Qatar, thank you so much for watching. Liz Mukuna from USA, thank you for tuning in. We have Philip Shikoti and several more. So continue sending in your feedback. We're really happy that you could join us. Now it's time for our cocktail of show business, and we'll pretty much talk about what's happening in the world of show business. And I'm joined on Skype by my guests, and I'll just introduce them right now. I've got Crazy Nairobian, who is a social media influencer, big on Twitter. Karibu sana, welcome. How are you doing?
I'm good, I'm doing fine.
All right, while the sound comes back on, Jane Chalo. Karibu sana, how are you doing, Jane? All right, she's a youth policy specialist. She'll also be joining us. And then we've got Madoka the Madola, who is a social media influencer. Good evening, guys. How are you all?
We're doing good.
Good. So we want to start off with celebrity trolling, because this is what has been the talk of town. And so I want to hear from you, Nairobian. First of all, have you ever been cyberbullied?
Yeah, but in my case, I call it harmless trolling because most of these guys, I know them. So if you put out something like a photo, expect everything they bring, like they'll just roast you.
Yeah. Right. And so where does it all begin then when you're looking at trolling? Is a celebrity placing themselves at risk, or is it just idlers who are talking about the lives of some of the celebrities and people who are influencers? Where does it all begin?
Okay, when you decide to put your life out there, you expect anything like trolling, you know? So when you decide to put your private life out there, expect anything. You'll get either positive criticism or negative criticism. So when mwenyewe ndo unajiweka huko nje, they are out there to criticize you.
So, you know, even just still on that point, when you say when you put your life out there, you know, sometimes it's all innocent and you want to share with your loved ones, or even just share what's going on in your life, and still you'll find let's say Kenyans on Twitter or influencers just deliberately reaching out to you, and we'll just probably even loop in this conversation of the song that has been making headlines or has been #1 on YouTube, which is How, right? And you've seen that the artist, that is Calligraph Jones, has been naming several artists who've been trolled, and also talking about how it has this effect on their lives. I mean, really, when you look at it, what is the problem?
Okay, first of all, when you are a celebrity, you're supposed to put yourself out there. Then when you're out there, you expect all the criticism that come with whatever you have put out there. So if you put your loved one out there, there are those people who will not take it as in watachukulia vibaya, as in they'll come with everything at you. So the best unaweza fanya ni kunyamaza, to just don't go through the comments kama you're not tough enough, especially on Twitter.
I like how you said, especially if you're not tough enough, don't go through it. I want to loop in Jane. Jane, are you there?
Yes, hi.
Hi. Jane, have you ever been trolled before online?
Yeah, it happens a lot to everyone. And as Gail has said, whenever you post a pic online, or you may say something and people will be there saying all kinds of words, and what you ought to do, on the floor, don't let it get to your heart. You'll just get depressed for nothing. Because anyway, when you become a celebrity, expect anything, be it positive or negative. And mostly, if it's a photo, for instance, let me talk about the upcoming artist, for instance.
Yeah.
These people will tend to maybe post a pic of them, and people will be there calling them names, telling you how you look pretty, how you have a bad face, how you have crooked eyebrows and all that. But all you have to do is just let it slide. Forget about the fact that they are negative. There's negative energy out there. Let it be a boost to you. Yeah.
Then can we blame trolling on ignorance?
Not ignorance per se. Yeah, not ignorance per se. But I can say most of these bullies are people who tend to have their own issues.
Your sound is a little bit shaky. Maybe I can hear from Madoka, but kindly just turn down the other sources of sound because it's interfering with our frequency here. But maybe I can hear from Madoka. Can you blame this on ignorance? Trolling.
Ignorance, actually, some celebrities here out here, when they are told, when they're being told something. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So most of these celebrities in Kenya, they are so much ignorant. I think maybe.
So the celebrities are ignorant.
Yeah, most of them. So when they are being told something like, "Hello," so you have recorded a video, you have used a lot of money to record that video, and then, so when an influencer approaches him, or maybe he wants to get more of the views from the YouTube. So
yes, we can get you.
So can get me.
Yeah, perhaps as
so
yeah, keep going.
When they have reached certain level, they tend to be ignorant mostly. Yeah.
Do you agree with that, Billy the goat? Is in Nairobi, and do you agree that it's the celebrities who are ignorant or lack information for that matter?
Yeah, there are those celebrities who enjoy the trolling. I come with it because when I troll, they will trend up. In the case of Bahati, usually sets himself up for trolling because at the end of the day he'll trend. At the end of the day he'll come up with a project to go to the trend. So sometimes some of these artists, they set themselves up for cyberbullying.
You've actually brought up Bahati, and I want to open up this discussion a little bit further. Earlier this week on Monday, he actually hung his boots, and we saw in a video, so to speak, that was quite planned out, right? And he was breaking down, and he was closing the EMB Records. That's his recording label company. So do you think that this is a publicity stunt, or really he's hurting, and netizens are really have affected him that much? Especially because so many things are coming up at him with his wife.
I don't think it's the trolling that made him to hang the boots for EMB, because I know he enjoys the trolling and stuff like that. But the main reason, according to the video I watched, he hung the boot because of the gospel industry. They were attacking him because of how they treat some of the guys he has signed up. They are not supporting him and stuff like that. But for the trolling, sidhani kama ni trolling ndio imefanya ameachana na EMB.
Jane, do you agree with that? Jane, are you there?
Yes, hi. I am here.
Yes, I think now we can loop into the next story that's been making headlines this week in the world of entertainment, just for purposes of time. And we've got Ghana using drones to deploy COVID-19 testing kits. And so basically, COVID-19 is here with us. And first of all, how are you guys at home holding up? Is business running as usual? Are you able to cope with the situation? And COVID has generally hit so many people world over the same or badly. Yes, I can start with Jane.
Okay, I'm at Makwini currently, and I can say everything is. Like, for instance, we can visit and take a picture without and people are also required to be traveling with moving all around with mask on. Without a mask, you'll definitely be arrested and yeah. Can say everything else is. We are taking the necessary precautions also.
Yeah.
We have sanitizers everywhere. We have water and soap everywhere. Also, we have. I could see Honorable Rosin Seo through NGIF. She tried to provide some of this soap and some materials for helping with all that.
Yeah, right. I want to hear from Madoka and Billy the Goat, right? First of all, have you heard about what Ghana is doing in terms of using drones? I mean, drones have been popularly used in the film industry in shooting and creating movies. And this is something that they're the first of their kind to be doing this in the whole world. Are we doing enough as Kenya? And is this something that is notable to talk about, actually?
Contrary, Ghana there's a company called Zipline, which was introduced in Rwanda before. Before in Ghana. So the Ghana people, under the Zipline company, which tests over 75,000 people per day, of which is the biggest number in Africa. And also, they're using there are 4 catalogs of which the drones can travel in a distance of 60 amperes of 100 miles.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm being told that we are really short of time and there's a lot more to talk about. But because we have a little bit of a technical issue, let's take a look at the celebrity news for today. And then when we come back, we'll pick it up from where we've left off. And take a look.
Calligraph Jones' newly released song featuring Masauti called How has been trending on YouTube at #1. In this new release, the OG is giving examples of the many celebrities who have fallen victim to trolls, just like he has. In fact, he offers some bit of advice to personalities who have been victims of trolling. But Jones the OG seems to be a constant newsmaker, as he was recently accused of dissing Barua singer Bahati, whom he says started the music career by the name Mtoto wa Mama. But on the flip side, Twitter trolls have apparently branded him as Mtoto wa Diana, his wife. Bahati's wife is a few years older than him. Well, in his defense, the OG has since claimed he was only saying what people on Twitter have been saying.
So what did I say? I said Bahati akianza alikuwa mtoto wa mama, sasa Twitter amegeuziwa yeye ni mtoto wa Diana. First of all, that is not a diss. Unajua, that's not a diss, and I'm seeing people who are trying to make this sound or make it look like Calligraph Jones was dissing Bahati. I'm just echoing the sentiments of these people on Twitter. So Bahati manze usijali, Calligraph Jones hako anakudiss, unajua. Yeah, man. So what else, man?
I'm sure by now you've come across the viral Ghanaian dancing pallbearers memes. Well, to mimic them, popular comedian Eric Omondi and his team dressed up in black suits, face masks, and white gloves with the comedian Mulamwa as his main character in his skit. This skit is basically meant to speak about Mulamwa's recent predicament, where he seemed to have bowed out of his music career after heavy trolling on social media. By the way, for all of Mulamwa's fans, he seems to be slowly coming back to the scene. Let's hope he will swing back to cracking our ribs.
Okay. Okay.
Farming is good for your health, man.
Finally, in a video that has since gone viral, a young boy was captured on camera mimicking Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe on one of his media addresses on coronavirus. The boy focused on the CS's presser, where he wished Kenyans a happy Christmas before he realized it was actually Easter weekend. It shocked many to hear how he perfectly mimicked Mutahi Kagwe's actions and heavy accent.
Urge our Deputy President, Honorable Dr. William Arap Samoei Ruto, to stay at home. Quarantine yourself until this pandemic is over. Because as Kenyans, we need you as our 22, as our president coming 2022. With those few remarks, this season being Christmas, I want to wish you all, this being Easter weekend, it's actually Easter. I wish you all the best and please stay at home.
And that's your Friday dose of celebrity news.
All right, thank you so much for joining me tonight. And until next week, when we'll have much more guests, more vibrancy, more entertainment, and of course, it's going to be a date right here on TV47. I've been your host, Lucy Riley. And for now, I'll leave you with DJ Q playing you some music. So get your dancing boots on. It's time to dance.